Welcome to the Awkward Zoo. I'm Randy, and this is Just Listen Podcast. And today we have a special chew on this where we're going to go through a series about the senses and food. So you have sight, smell, touch, taste, right? Right, sight, smell, touch, taste, sound. Not necessarily sound. Um, yeah, so we're gonna cover four senses because hearing um is more on the cooking side of food. You will hear things. Um, doesn't really play much part when you're eating it. I believe. Of course, like you, hearing and texture and like touch kind of go together because you will hear the sounds of how things. That's how you know like things texturally are. But I don't think it plays an important part in eating. That probably go coincide with touch, which is the next segment. But today on Chew on This, we're going to talk about the look of food, how food looks, right? And then we have a flip the script, and we're going to talk about um, the Karate Kid or the Kung Fu Kid. 2010 Karate Kid, which is about kung fu. Um, yeah, so we're talking about that in Flip the Script. But first, some updates. Not much is going on. I believe where I'm working is opening in, they said mid January. So hopefully it doesn't delay much. Um, but until then, I have really no schedule updates. Um, like I said, podcast is really not effective. Audio every Thursday, the video every Friday. I'm going to keep that schedule. So, um, what that'll affect mostly would be streaming stuff. But yeah, everything's going. I got a new game. I've been playing. I've been streaming Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors. It's okay. It's good. I would have to agree. Uh, it's like Marvel Avengers. In terms of how buggy it is, but it's still, despite that, it's still enjoyable. It's still got stuff going for it. Yeah, but it does chug a little bit. Uh, and I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, so I've been playing that. What else have I been playing? Um, no, that's it. Board Game Mondays is on hiatus. Haven't, if you don't already know, mainly because I ran out of solo games to play, and I can't connect my iPad currently, and that has digital games which I can play. But yeah, and I can't play on my computer because I can't download programs on my computer because it's already full. Memory is already full, and I can't delete software because I need um, all of these softwares actually that I do stuff with them. And then I can't play on a web browser because there's a couple of web browsing websites that you can play board games on. I can't do a web browser because I don't have desktop audio because I stream from a MacBook, and MacBook, there's a roundabout way to get desktop audio on a MacBook. And as I already stated, I don't have much memory space on my MacBook, so I can't download more programs to start that, to get that to work basically. I probably could. It's probably a small file, but I need as much space as I can have for other things, and like because I stream using a capture card, and so I don't really need desktop audio except for that, except for like web browsing board games, but I'm not doing that. So yeah, so board games are on a hiatus for a while until I can probably find people and we can meet up again with people and play board games, um, or I get a PC, which is not happening anytime soon whatsoever. So board games are on hiatus, but until then we're going to be streaming video games, probably Age of Calamity most of the times. I'm working with some friends and streaming other things. Yeah, so that's kind of on that end. The cooking videos. Cooking videos will be released. The first one will be released probably before this podcast. Sometimes before, probably Wednesday. I'm ahead of this podcast. And then how reoccurring they are, I'm not sure yet. Right now I haven't shoot much because I have no money, so I can't really buy ingredients either. And yeah, so I haven't really shot much. I have a couple of videos, so maybe I don't know. I might just release all the videos I have every other week, or jugging on the coffee there. But I might release the videos every other week or once a month. We'll see. Once I start getting a job and have money, I can buy ingredients again, start cooking videos again. But yeah, so there's that. I think that covers everything. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Okay, let's head on to Chew on This. So like I said, Chew on This, we're going on a series. Is covering senses is and how you experience food, and obviously the first thing is smell and sight, but we're going to say smell for later because it's an important part in taste. And so we're going to cover that later. And so we're going to focus on sight because there's like many phrases. The feast for your eyes is something like beautiful, marvelous, and then the common phrase is you eat with your eyes first, right? And so sight, visual appeal, is something looks appetizing, if something looks delicious, is you'll see it first, right? And this plays a part. All right, yeah, right. I got this from businessstandard.com. A visual appeal or taste, what attracts you to food, and I read a bunch of other articles as well, and they all basically say the same thing. And so sight is very important because if you see mold, if you see something bad, then you're not going to eat it. And then likewise, if you see something good or delicious, you want to eat it. And particularly in a restaurant, and you're expecting presentation, right? If you're going to a fancy place, is you expect plating of some sort, right? And more so with social media, right? With the advent of social media, Instagram, right? People taking photos of food. Do you want to present it, right? More so the pressure of presenting in a beautiful looking dish is even greater now, right? And not just for like fancy restaurants, but for everyone, whether it's a boba tea shop or ice cream, right? You want to present your food, you want to display your food, right? Because as people take photos and post it, on social media, that's advertising right there, right? Right, the Instagrammable food, and stuff, and so, all right, and then psychology also plays a part, and when you visually look at something, right, I saw this on an episode of Brain Games, right? When you look at something, right, it can mess with your mind as you look at stuff, right? If you have two plates, I mean, two plates of food, one is on a bigger plate, and the same exact thing on a smaller plate, and you put them side by side, right? The smaller plate is going to look like it has more food, right? Versus the bigger plate, because of that space, because of the negative space, is the smaller one looks like it has more food because there's less negative space on it. And so when plating, you got to decide, right, what size plate you're going to use, how are you going to use the negative space, how are you going to fill the space, right? And so it's not just about the components and where they go, but also the size of the plate you have to think about. And yeah, so there's a little bit of like brain illusion trickery there, with plating. And also you don't want to like overwhelm stuff or highlight stuff, but you do have to visually compare with colors as well. You have to put into colors into consideration. You don't want too many different colors as well. You don't want just one monochrome, right? There's, you want like little splashes of color. It's very plating is very kind of detailed oriented. It's very artistic, right? That's why it's culinary arts. Right, when it comes to plating, it's very artistic, and you got to think like an artist, right? You contrast the color wheel, and you don't want to overload it with different colors and stuff, and you want to put focus and intention, right? And so, what I always wanted to do, and the reason why I got a camera as well, is food styling, right? Food photography, food stylist, who take photos of food and like how they think. I've seen a couple of videos of food stylists and like just a simple PB&J, different ways to present that in like a magazine ad for PB&J. That was the video it was about, and just like kind of subtleties and notes, like and connections, and so it's just like food styling, right? Not the fake food styling, where like it adds, they make the food look better than it actually is, but actually like plating wise, nice, and taking photos of food, and stylizing it to make it look beautiful in a non-fake, non-edible way. In an edible way where you can still eat the food, versus like putting glue or crude oil on top of things to make it look the way it does. But yeah, not like, cause there's videos out there about like food styling of like they just like paint raw chicken to make it look like a roast chicken, right? There's little hacks in food styling and ads to make it look the way it does, but it's not edible. Yeah, I'm not looking for that kind of. I'm not doing that kind of thing. I'm not interested in that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much everything about sight, right? It's pretty straightforward. This kind of visual effect of food, and then there is some kind of psychology illusion work you can do, yeah, man, that's it. That's food. Now we're gonna go to flip the script. So today's flip the script. We're talking about 2010 Karate Kid, and that's with Jackie Chan and Jada Smith. And this is set in. Jaden moves to Beijing because of his mom's work, and then similar story to Karate Kid. And he gets bullied, and then he decides to join kung fu place. But then the kids who bully him are at that kung fu place, and their teacher is bad, and he gets taught by some old dude. And so for this is kung fu, because they're set in China. I don't know why it's called. Actually, I do know why it's called Karate Kid, and it's because it mimics the first Karate Kid. It's kind of like a reboot, but they redid it to make sense to the actors and the setting. But there's a line, there's a quote from this movie that I really like, and that kind of echoes why we're flipping the script on. And this is the quote. This is Jackie Chan saying this to Jaden, and this is when this is the moment where Jaden realizes like the basic things that he's doing, he's actually learning kung fu. And this is that moment. So here's the quote. Kung fu lives in everything we do, Xiao Zhui. It lives in how we put on the jacket, how we take off the jacket. It lives in how we treat people. Everything is kung fu. That's not exactly how he said it, but there is a clip out there. You just type in "everything is kung fu." You can watch the clip of the movie for this quote. But yeah, so everything is kung fu. This quote really hit hard because flipping the script, for Christians, everything is Christ. Everything is Christ. I mean, literally, everything is Christ. Everything we do should exemplify Jesus. 1 Corinthians. Okay, let me give you biblical context here. 1 Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Colossians 3:16-17. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So yeah, as a believer, as a Christian, as someone who trusts and put their faith in Jesus Christ, everything you do should glorify him. Right? Not just Sundays, not just going to church on Sundays and being a good little Christian on Sunday, but every single day. Every single day. Everything. Right? Just as this quote, like kung fu is everything. Right? It's in even how you treat people. Being a disciple, being a Christian, and is being a follower of Christ. Everything that you do, even how you treat people, how you live, what you eat, drink, not exactly what you eat or drink, how you eat and drink, right? What you say, what you do needs to exemplify Christ, right? Not just on Sundays, not just when you're with other Christians, everything. Where you go to the barber, where you go to the grocery store, or restaurant, everything, right? And like this quote just reminds me of that some people, oh right, they just live the good life. They just put on the show, right? Put on a mask. But here it says, right, everything that you do, right, not just on social media, not just at church in front of your group, but everything. Even when at home, when there's no one watching, when no one's looking, right? Are you doing everything by Jesus? Right? And that's today's flip the script. This quote from Karate Kid. Kung Fu lives in everything we do. Everything is Kung Fu. Well, Jesus lives in everything we do. And everything we do is for Jesus. Is that true for you? Yes, we will mess up. Yeah, I fail. Not everything I do, right? We stumble. We are sinners. We will stumble. We will fall. Right? Until he comes again and everything is restored and everything is perfect. But do we remind ourselves of this? That our lives are no longer ours. Right? Galatians 2:20. Therefore I have been crucified with Christ. No longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. A life that I live now in the flesh. Right? I do so and believe in the Son of God who loved me and who gave himself for me. Yes, we will stumble. Yes, we will fall. We will fail sometimes. But do we still continue going and pursuing this life of walking faith, or this life of walking with God and displaying Christ in everything that we do? So, wrap things up. Today we learned about one of the senses in experiencing food with our eyes, right? Visual appeal is very important, and more so in the world of social media where that pressure is um, up. And so, what do you think about that? How important is the look of food to you? Are you, you know, right? And do you agree? Because of social media, there's that added pressure of food looking good. But then, for some, right, the food may look good, it may be Instagrammable, but then they lose track of the important thing of taste. It may not be the best taste, it may not be the best flavor combination, but it looks good, right? I feel like some sacrifice that, sacrifice the taste, sacrifice the flavor pairings because they want it to be good. Um, then flip the script, right? Kung Fu is in everything, lives in everything. Everything is Kung Fu. As a believer, I'm talking to believers here, to Christians here. Is Christ everything? And is everything you do in Him? Right? 1 Corinthians 10:13, Colossians 3:16 through 17. Right? Is everything that you do, literally everything, how you eat, how you drink, what you say, how you spend your day, your interaction, does it give glory to God? Would God look at it and be pleased? And that's it. This is what, episode 10? So next chew on this is going to be mouth feel, touch, mouth feel, and I'm not sure what the script is going to be about. But yeah, and that's the next episode. And thank you guys for listening, stopping by, watching the video. It is greatly appreciated knowing that someone's out there listening, or watching, or just listening. I don't know, because sometimes I just turn videos on and I just listen to them. But besides the point, you are greatly appreciated, and I do hope you join in conversations or start up your own with friends and family. And it's like, I hope this brings up conversations for you guys. And yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you have a jelly day. Bye.